When they left the corridor, Hella was carrying the suitcase containing the novel and Margarita Nikolaevna's few possessions, and the cat was helping Hella. At the door of the apartment, Koroviev made his bows and disappeared, while the rest went to accompany them downstairs. The stairway was empty. As they passed the third-floor landing, something thudded softly, but no one paid any attention to it. Just at the exit from the sixth stairway, Azazello blew upwards, and as soon as they came out to the courtyard, where the moonlight did not reach, they saw a man in a cap and boots asleep, and obviously dead asleep, on the doorstep, as well as a big black car by the entrance with its lights turned off. Through the windshield could be dimly seen the silhouette of a rook. They were just about to get in when Margarita cried softly in despair. "Oh, God, I've lost the horseshoe." "Get into the car," said Azazello, "and wait for me." "I'll be right back, I only have to see what's happened." And he went back in. What had happened was the following: shortly before Margarita and the master left with their escort, a little dried-up woman carrying a can and a bag came out of apartment number 48, which was located just under the jeweler's wife's apartment. This was that same Anushka who on Wednesday, to Berlioz's misfortune, had spilled sunflower oil by the turnstile. No one knew, and probably no one will ever know, what this woman did in Moscow or how she maintained her existence. The only thing known about her is that she could be seen every day either with the can, or with bag and can together, in the kerosene shop, or in the market, or under the gateway, or on the stairs, but most often in the kitchen of apartment number 48, of which this Anushka was one of the tenants. Besides that and above all, it was known that wherever she was or wherever she appeared, a scandal would at once break out, and, besides, that she bore the nickname of the Plague. Anushka the Plague always got up very early for some reason, and today something got her up in the wee hours, just past midnight. The key turned in the door, Anushka's nose stuck out of it, then the whole of her stuck out, she slammed the door behind her, and was about to set off somewhere when a door banged on the landing above, someone hurried down the stairs and, bumping into Anushka, flung her aside so that she struck the back of her head against the wall. Where's the devil taking you in nothing but your underpants? Anushka shrieked, clutching her head. The man in nothing but his underwear, carrying a suitcase and wearing a cap, his eyes shut, answered Anushka in a wild, sleepy voice. The boiler, the vitriol, the cost of the whitewashing alone, and, bursting into tears, he barked, out. Here he dashed, not further down, but back up to where the window had been broken by the economist's foot, and out this window he flew, legs up, into the courtyard. Anushka even forgot about her head, gasped, and rushed to the window herself. She lay down on her stomach on the landing and stuck her head into the yard, expecting to see the man with the suitcase smashed to death on the asphalt, lit up by the courtyard lantern. But on the asphalt courtyard there was precisely nothing. It only remained to suppose that a sleepy and strange person had flown out of the house like a bird, leaving not a trace behind him. Anushka crossed herself and thought. Yes, indeed, a nice little apartment, that number 50. It's not for nothing, people say. Oh, a nice little apartment. Before she had time to think it through, the door upstairs slammed again, and a second someone came running down. Anushka pressed herself to the wall and saw a rather respectable citizen with a little beard, but, as it seemed to Anushka, with a slightly piggish face, dart past her and, like the first one, leave the house through the window, again without ever thinking of smashing himself on the asphalt. Anushka had already forgotten the purpose of her outing and stayed on the stairway, crossing herself, gasping, and talking to herself. A third one, without a little beard, with a round, clean-shaven face, in a Tolstoy blouse, came running down a short while later and fluttered out the window in just the same way. To Anushka's credit it must be said that she was inquisitive and decided to wait and see whether any new miracles would occur. The door above was opened again, and now a whole company started down, not at a run, but normally, as everybody walks. Anushka darted away from the window, went to her own door, opened it in a trice, hid behind it, and her eye, frenzied with curiosity, glittered in the chink she left for herself. Someone, possibly sick or possibly not, but strange, pale, with a stubbly beard, in a black cap and some sort of robe, walked down with unsteady steps. He was led carefully under the arm by a lady in a black cassock, as it seemed to Anushka in the darkness. The lady was possibly barefoot, possibly wearing some sort of transparent, obviously imported, shoes that were torn to shreds. Pa! Shoes my eye. The lady is naked. Yes, the cassock has been thrown right over her naked body. A nice little apartment. Everything in Anushka's soul sang in anticipation of what she was going to tell the neighbors the next day. The strangely dressed lady was followed by a completely naked one carrying a suitcase, and next to the suitcase a huge black cat was knocking about. Anushka almost squeaked something out loud, rubbing her eyes. Bringing up the rear of the procession was a short, limping foreigner, blind in one eye, without a jacket, in a white formal waistcoat and tie. This whole company marched downstairs past Anushka. Here something thudded on the landing. As the steps died away, Anushka slipped like a snake from behind the door, put the can down by the wall, dropped to the floor on her stomach, and began feeling around. Her hands came upon a napkin with something heavy in it. Anushka's eyes started out of her head when she unwrapped the package. Anushka kept bringing the precious thing right up to her eyes, and these eyes burned with a perfectly wolfish fire. A whirlwind formed in Anushka's head. I see nothing, I know nothing. To my nephew? Or cut it in pieces? I could pick the stones out, and then one by one to Petrovka, another to Smolensky and, I see nothing, I know nothing. Anushka hid the found object in her bosom, grabbed the can, and was about to slip back into her apartment, postponing her trip to town, when that same one with the white chest, without a jacket, emerged before her from devil knows where and quietly whispered. Give me the horseshoe and napkin. What napkin horseshoe? Anushka asked, shamming very artfully. I don't know about any napkins. Are you drunk, citizen, or what? With fingers as hard as the handrails of a bus, and as cold, the white-chested one, without another word, squeezed Anushka's throat so that he completely stopped all access of air to her chest.